This is ANN News Brief.
Good morning, I'm Lucy Adeyemi. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has condemned on Wednesday the attack on students of a government science college in Kagara, Niger State. Atiku Abubakar said Nigeria must stop rewarding criminality, as that will result in more crimes being perpetrated. Niger State government said gunmen killed a student and kidnapped 42 persons, including school children and staff, when assailants stormed the government's science secondary school around 2 a.m., overwhelming the school security detail. It was reported that the abductors were dressed in army uniforms and shooting sporadically as they broke into the school. The motive for the attack is unclear. Atiku Abubakar said in a statement he personally signed that the deteriorating state of insecurity in the country is alarming. Atiku asked the federal government to tackle cases of abductions by ending what he calls the reign of impunity, especially in a situation children and minors were being kidnapped. The former vice president said, quote, "Now is not the time for fingers to point in blame. Our nation needs solutions, and we have now seen that paying ransoms and allowing criminals to profit from their criminality is not a solution," end quote. The United Nations UN mission in South Sudan has condemned the killing of polio workers in South Sudan. Armed men attacked polio workers in Lake State, Malek area in the central parts of the country, leaving 3 persons dead on Sunday. 4 others were wounded and 1 missing. The nationwide polio vaccination campaign targeting children under 5 years old in 10 regional states started on Tuesday. It is the second round of vaccination since an outbreak in September last year. The motive behind the attack on the polio workers who were traveling from Rumbek Center to Rumbek North remains unclear. UN humanitarian coordinator in South Sudan, Alien Nuthu, has called for those responsible to be brought to justice. We'll be right back.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
South Africa has begun rolling out COVID-19 vaccination on Wednesday after it received 80,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which has been shown to be effective against the variant first identified in South Africa. The country had altered an earlier plan to use the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine after it showed lesser effectiveness on the variant. President Cyril Ramaphosa was one of the first to receive the vaccine alongside health workers in Western Cape Province. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine being used now is administered as a single dose. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the country has secured 9 million doses in total and more doses are expected. But experts say South Africa's economic recovery will come only after COVID-19 is defeated. They are asking that the South African government keep its vaccination plan to reduce the pressure on the health system. Economists have also pointed out that in light of the current pandemic situation, the government should support small and micro economy as a starting point to promote employment.
Good to see Ramaphosa, putting the vaccines as as one of the major priorities for the rest of the year, which it needs to be. Not all of it's going to be government's fault. We're living in a world where there is so much complexity and the science is evolving on an almost daily basis. And, how are we going to administer and setting up the systems and stuff by itself is a massive, massive challenge.
And then potentially the best of those suck up people to work in their micro businesses. That's the only way you can scale this thing wide enough to bring in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of jobs.
South Africa's economy, affected by the pandemic, declined sharply last year. In the third quarter of 2020, the country's unemployment rate increased by 7.5 percentage points compared with the second quarter, reaching 30.8%. The unemployment population reached a record high of 6.5 million. That is ANN News Brief at 11. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Lucy Adeyemi.